In this video, to help you better understand the set position component, I'm planning to create a simple shooting game. In order to do this, we need to introduce another use for the parent component that allows us to attach an object to a specific part of the player's body. In the first step to have a weapon, we need to add a simple object to the game scene and then add the GLB importer component to it. There's a pistol model in the GLB library on the Metaverser website, and by copying its URL into the GLB importer component, the weapon will be loaded. To ensure the weapon is in the player's hand, we add a parent component to it. Next, in the target section, we select main player. In the target position on player section, you can choose between head, right hand, right leg, or waist. We'll choose the right hand to ensure the gun is in the player's right hand. To ensure the gun is immediately in the player's hand when the player enters the land, we'll use the game starter component. It's best to keep general game components on a specific object to simplify game management. Add a simple object to the game scene and add the game starter component to it. Then, in the On Game Started Events section, enter your desired event name. Next, select the weapon and in the Event to Set Parent section of the parent component, enter the name of the event. To see the result, exit Game Maker and then re-enter the land. As you can see, the pistol is in the player's right hand, but the grip isn't correctly aligned. To fix this, go back into Game Maker. Select the weapon and open its parent component. To adjust the pistol position, you need to change the offset and rotation. The precise values required to align the pistol in the right hand can be found in the Learn More section for this pistol model in the Metaverser library. Enter these values carefully. Then, exit Game Maker and re-enter the field to check the result. As you can see, the gun is correctly positioned in the player's hand. To continue, let's go back to Game Maker. Select the gun and give it a name. For the bullet, we'll use a ball and make it small enough to be distinguishable. We can always make it smaller later if needed. Once you're done, name it bullet and add the parent component to it. Set the gun as its parent. Next, copy the bullet and name it bullet position. This object sets the bullet's position after the firing operation is complete. I'll explain more later. To prevent the bullet from colliding with this object when it returns to this point, add the collision component and deactivate its collision property. Then, copy this object and move it to the front of the gun. This object is used to set the direction of the bullet, so let's name it bullet direction. Now it's time for the shooting operation. Select the bullet, add an input button component, and choose the G key for shooting. Set it so that pressing the G key sends the shoot event. When the shoot event is triggered, we want to play the shooting animation. In this animation, the hand raises to shoot, but it takes about 300 milliseconds for the hand to raise fully before the shot is fired. To manage this delay, add a chain event component, setting it so that after sending the shoot event, the shoot to event is triggered 300 milliseconds later, which is when the bullet should be fired. To move the bullet, add the force component to the bullet. Since the bullet doesn't have a rigid body component, an error appears, but you can fix this by clicking on the Add button to add a rigid body component to the bullet. To move the bullet forward, set space to object and choose the bullet direction object in the selected object field. Enter 20 for amount to set the bullet speed. Finally, choose the shoot to event to start the bullet's movement. In the rigid body component settings, disable use gravity and reduce the bullet's mass to 0.1. To see the result, exit Game Maker and enter the land. Then, press the G key to shoot. After 300 milliseconds, the bullet is fired. To continue, let's go back into Game Maker. To add a target, select a simple object and add the NPC mesh component to it. Then choose one of the pre-built NPCs. Next, add the NPC rig animation component to it and set fighting as the default animation. To detect when the bullet hits the NPC, add the trigger component and increase the size of the trigger slightly, set target tag to object tag. Now, we need to choose the bullet's tag. Since there's no tag set for the bullet, select the bullet and add a tag to its default component. Next, enter the bullet tag in the trigger and set the die event for when the bullet hits the NPC. Now, set the die animation for the die event. To make the bullet's impact with the NPC more interesting, use the VFX component to add an blood explosion effect when the bullet hits, which is triggered by the die event. To execute the shooting animation on the player, add the player animation component and set the pistol animation for the shoot event. Now, exit Game Maker and re-enter the land. Head toward the NPC and press the G key to shoot. It works great, but the only issue is that after shooting, there's no bullet at the tip of the gun, preventing further shots. To fix this problem, return to Game Maker and add a chain event component to the bullet. Define an event named setPosition to trigger 1 second after the shoot to event. Finally, add the setPosition component to the bullet and set it so that when the setPosition event is called, the bullet's position is reset to the bullet position object, which we placed at the tip of the gun barrel. Now, let's go to the LAN to see the final result. Approach the NPC and shoot. To confirm that the bullet has returned to the gun, shoot again. It works! Now you can shoot as many times as you like. More videos will be released soon, so make sure you subscribe to our channel. See you in Metaverser.